Welcome to the Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular. It's incredible. Very good.
It's a return to the national stage for the top NPL clubs in the country. A standalone competition to see which states and teams will stand out and stand up to the pressure. For Preston, it's been a long road back, but the Lions' re-emergence in NPL Victoria has invigorated the competition. They'll now look to stamp the championship with their brand of passion and intensity. Welcome to the championship on SBS. Spirit are coming off their most successful season in the New South Wales Premier League, winning the premiership and falling to Preston's brother club Rockdale in the penultimate finals match. It's a trip south for the Sydney Siders. They land in the Cauldron, which is Jenna Still Stadium, home of the Preston Lions, who, like Spirit, lost in the second last finals match in Victoria to the eventual champions Heidelberg, and we know what the Burgers have achieved in the Australia Cup. So much history, so much passion, and yes, frustration at not having their own stage. Well, they've got one now in the Australian Championship, and it's going to be an intriguing 8 weeks of football ahead. It's a welcome to Roy O'Donovan in commentary, and Roy, this place brings so much passion and intensity to football.
Hello David, hello everybody at home. It's fantastic to be here today. The atmosphere has been building for quite a while now. Preston Lions have been crying out for their chance at the big stage for a very long time, so this contest today is a very intriguing one, and Spirit coming off their best season in a long time, mean in defence, very good going forward. It promises it to be a great occasion today.
A line-up, a blustery day in Melbourne. The Preston flags will be out. A small travelling contingent of Spirit FC support from the northwest of Sydney, and the former giants of the NSL have a return to the national stage. We know Spirit have refreshed their lineup since their premiership win. They fell in the second last match to Rockdale Inundon in a very, very entertaining semi-final. It's a really intimate, intense atmosphere for any travelling team at BT Connor Reserve. Cheech the Lions there as well, the mascot on the right. You'll hear the drums beating for the full 90 and beyond. The last NSL match was 1993 at this stadium for Preston Lions. Rob Spasevsky saw the winner, 1-0 against Sydney Olympic at Connor Reserve. The attendance that day, Roy, 782 people, the lowest in the NSL that weekend. Goran Lozanovsky and the great John Markowski in that team. And Rob Spasevsky is now the coach of the Plenty Valley Lions in State League 2 and a great club man of Preston. There is Jock Quartermain, the referee. So they'll be celebrating their history throughout the championship, Preston, and their Macedonian roots as well, coming back from a two-match tour of Macedonia. So that's how they've prepared for the championship after bowing out to Heidelberg, the eventual champions in the NPL. So they're in their home strip today, all yellow with the black shorts, Spirit FC. We know David Perkowski is with us in commentary, but he's not on the bench for Spirit FC. Luca Falcone is, flanked by Nick Perica and Gary Rafferty, who does the strength and conditioning, as well as a very entertaining podcast, I must add.
Correct.
He gets it going, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
And there is Luiszewski. He's a club legend. Coached for 9 years. He's seen 3 promotions from the doldrums of Victorian football back to the summit of the state and perhaps beyond as we look at the championship and look at their ambition as a club.
And both clubs have a very similar symmetry in the last couple of years. A couple of promotions, you know, not expected much. Preston Lions, for example, they weren't expected to do much this year, but to finish 5th in the NPL in Victoria is no mean feat, and they came home with a wet sail. And as we know, Spirit a couple of years ago got promotion and kind of held their own for a couple of years in the NPL New South Wales. But last season, certainly under David Perkovich, they went above and beyond, and you know, some big wins in there against the likes of Marconi and Appia along the way as well.
Yeah, Jason Romero gets a start for the home side, replacing Jonas Markowski. Connor Bell for Gian Albano, and Luke Francis leads the line for the home side. Aidan Mustafi and Ethan DeBono there with Kai Denton, the 3 new faces for the team in yellow. Match underway at BT Connor Reserve, celebrating the great history and the tapestry of Australian football, these championships. And we're going to see some raucous home support, I'm sure, from Preston this afternoon. A lot of pressure on the visiting Spirit FC as well. There's Francis trying to get him behind. Hooked in there by Perchevsky, who's the central defender, looking to blunt the effectiveness of Luke Francis, who came mid-season from Queensland. Had a great impact. In fact, their recruiting has been outstanding. Preston, they've brought in some really good, talented players. You look at their bench, Roy, it's full of depth, and we know their attacking layers are there to see it. And you must say, for Spirit FC, that's what they showed last season, a great balance with a gnarly defence and a pretty effective attack as well. There's Connor Bell in the centre of the park for Preston. Been through his injury problems. There is number 10. He will pop up on the left side of the attacking 3. Dom Foligno just behind him as a left fullback. Early touch for Wigan. Here's Kavanagh. Ball over the top, and could be a dangerous one here. Mustafi gets a good cross in. Needs to be dealt with, and was. And that was a really important interception by Jake Trakowski.
And both teams, to start with, David, they're trying to play their football. You know, they're not getting overawed by the occasion. And, nice play from Spirit FC there. And, straight away, Preston are under pressure.
Andrea Takami, the former Wollongong man, via Brisbane, will whip the cross in near post. Didn't have enough elevation. Preston break. Francis, Bell ahead of him. In fact, it wasn't Francis, it was the right winger Leighton Brooks, who was an important player last season. Another ball in behind, so worrying signs early for the Preston defence, but the flag was up for offside.
So interesting there, David, really, with Leighton Brooks there on the counter-attack. Is that going to be a tactic today? I noticed there was you had 10 players back for Preston Lions on that set piece, and Leighton Brooks stayed high and wide. So his pace on the break is going to be very important to them today, and it'll be interesting to watch that battle there on that right-hand side.
There's Matt Bozanovsky on the ball, the central defender. His brother Damien on the bench, a recruit from Melbourne Victory. So Bozanovsky partners Tchaikovsky in the heart of defence. Tchaikovsky, originally a Sydney boy, made the switch and had to overcome some injuries for Preston in his early days. Bozanovsky floats it forward. But Spirit have come to play, which is a positive for them. I thought they may sit back and really absorb pressure. It's been probably the other way around, as Bell looking to be released by Francis. That's a good challenge. Really good central pair of Perchevsky and Nicholas with Grant Cornwell. So they play a back 3 Spirit with Ollie Wigan and Mustafi, the wide players. So they've kept the Perkovic system, it looks like, early days in this match.
Yeah, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, I think with Leighton Brooks, I think they're going to be looking from a Preston point of view. Mustafi goes forward quite a lot, so that space in behind is what they're going to try and counter-attack.
So the home side under pressure in the early stages. Here's Kubele. Bosanovsky. Stefan Negro's the right fullback. A lot of experience, we know, with Melbourne Victory, a couple of spells with them. Never scored in the NPL, nor in the A-League as well. So maybe he's going to break the duck in the Australia or in the championship. Let's see. Felino to Bell, who returns the favour. Better passage of play by Preston. Don Felina had that long spell in the academy at Melbourne City. Good cross whipped in. Well defended by Spirit. And that twin pivot of Kavanagh and also Takami in the centre of the park for Spirit. And they look to play quickly. Negro slows the tempo down. Romero gets a start, tries to play Bell in behind. Connor Bell's first touch was heavy, but his anticipation was superb in trying to get onto that loose ball.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of occasion for waiting for to clear your lines. Cornwell has to deal with that there because Connor Bell is quick and he will punish you if he gets a half a chance.
Here's Ollie Wigan. Had a pretty decent season with Spirit last campaign that saw them win their first premiership in the NPL. And that's in behind for a corner. So it was a cross whipped in with some great pace. There's Kai Denton, who is the boy in for the second tier of New South Wales football. You've seen a lot of him over the years.
I have. He was a prolific goal scorer for Northern Tigers in the league below, in the NPL 2, for a number of years. And yeah, he's made the move here and he's got big shoes to fill. Obviously, no Michael Conestabo today with 15 goals last year, and Yu Akubo, who had 18 goals. So they'll be hoping Kai Denton gets off to a flyer today.
Taking the corner here. 23 goals last campaign for the Tigers. Near post, well delivered. And the shot charged down. So this is a real surprise early on. Spirit asking some serious questions of the Preston defence. They've come to play, which is a great sign.
Absolutely, and we watched that game last night, you and me both, David. South Melbourne versus Sydney Olympic, and you know there wasn't much in that game either. It was a terrific game of football, and we're hoping for the same again today.
Denton, take two with the corner. This time, not the depth, but it'll be take three. And Kai Denton, 40 goals in 2 years with the Northern Tigers. He's been the dominant force in the second tier of New South Wales football. There's Luke Jego wearing the armband for Preston. Of course, the brother of Socceroo James. Early fist from Ryan Scott. He was an outstanding player in between the posts for Preston. He may be called upon once more. Yet another corner for the visiting team in yellow.
Yeah, Ryan Scott, he was definitely a cult figure in his time at Newcastle Jets. Done a terrific job there. But he won't be too happy with his team keep giving away these set pieces.
Yeah, unnecessary pressure on the home side early on. You must pay credit to the way Spirit have set out their stall. Cross deep this time. Dealt with by Bosanovsky. Centering ball. Little 1-2 there involving Kavanagh. And Mustafi with a shot from the angle. Well, Aidan Mustafi has come from the fourth tier of German football. He had a good little spell with St George. There is a shot of the wide attacking player Takumi Afuka. And a small section, and there's Mustafi on the angle, and he set up nicely for him.
Yeah, first sighting on goal for either side properly, and he's had a go. Why not? Don't shoot, don't score.
Well, considering that they've lost Yu Akobo who was their top scorer last season, third in the Golden Boot in the New South Wales Premier League with 18 goals. And Michael Conostabile is back from a holiday break in Europe, 15. So 33 of the 67 goals from last season, Roy, are not there on the pitch for Spirit FC. That's a whole lot of firepower missing.
It's a lot of firepower missing. It's a lot of balance as well within that team. They've got a couple of new faces now that have to kind of get straight up to speed. But as you said, in the opening 9 minutes of this game, they look to be playing the same as they did in the New South Wales Premier last year.
Yeah, when Rockdale looked to have the better of them in that preliminary final, Spirit showed in the second half they had a few bullets to fire of their own, and they were, I think, maybe pretty unlucky not to send that final into extra time. They certainly had the opportunities. Good ball in behind. Leighton Brooks is the wide attacking player. His middle name Dakami. His mum is Japanese, and we know his time at Melbourne Victory. He showed a lot in the A-League. There's Sash Oganovsky, the former Asian Player of the Year, assistant coach, one of the assistants with Lewisewski on the bench for Preston. Club legend. And one of the reasons they've had their ascendancies back to the top flight of Victorian football. Three promotions since the 2018-19 season. They've virtually been the Wrexham of Victorian football. In fact, they hosted Wrexham when Wrexham came out for their Australian tour, quite fittingly. Helped on by Francis. Here's Romero. More positive for Preston. Chris Marks had a good season between the posts for Spirit FC. When you look at the constants for Spirit last season, it was the back four and the holding midfielders. They were really, well, the back five when you consider they played with wing backs, and Kavanagh and Takami, the pivoting midfielders. We had 6,000 at Lakeside for South Melbourne's opener against Sydney Olympic in that 5-goal thriller, and a healthy crowd at BT Connor Reserve. There's some of the fans. Sometimes the passion does overflow, but it's great to see.
Absolutely. What is football without passion, David? That's the whole reason we come and watch and play this game.
And Roy, just further to your comment about, you know, that sibling rivalry between New South Wales and Victoria. Obviously, Heidelberg has put Victorian football on the map with their run in the Australia Cup, but it's as much bragging rights between the top NPL leagues in Australia as anything else, really. And first blood went to South Melbourne last night. You know, Apia won a little earlier in Adelaide, and now we've got another New South Wales v Victoria contest. Here's Connor Bell. Teasing run on the left. He was the hero a couple of years back with that away goal against Langwarrin to get them back into the top flight of Victorian football with Lewisewski at the helm. And he was playing through an osteus pubis injury at the time. Went for surgery at the end of that season. So he's Preston's longest serving member currently in the squad. A real crowd favourite.
But to come back to your point, David, I think, yeah, there's always that bragging rights between Melbourne and between New South Wales, Victoria and New South Wales, I should say. But I think that's in everything, and that's not just football. That's everything. With people, you know, place to live. But I must say, the game last night and the way this one has started, it's there's not much between the teams and the leagues, and both very athletic, both proper clubs set up the right way. And as we can see and we can hear, there's terrific passion coming from the stands there as well.
Well, NWS Spirit has not taken a backward step. They've shown Preston their ability to play through pressure. And certainly their wide players have been a threat. And here they go through the centre. Direct trying to pick out Kai Denton, who leads the line for Spirit FC. Bozanovsky. Negro. Back to Ryan Scott. Here's Romero. They try to make the pitch wide. Dom Felino will just wait for the run of Bell. Does he return the favour? Not with that touch. Has to go all the way back and reset. Kubalate is a great distributor of the ball, and that's a decent delivery in behind for a corner, and that's exactly what Oliver Kubalate can deliver.
Yeah, he's the one that they're going to be looking at to set the tone of this game. And it's a definite tactic. It's a contrast in styles, really. Both strikers. So Luke Francis for Preston Lions, he's a big, dominating figure, and they're trying to look for him early. Like Kubalay here, looks for Luke Francis, pulling off on the back stick. Nearly got it right, good defending. But in reverse, Kai Denton is all about speed, and that's the ball in behind is going to be a threat today to Bozanovsky and Trajkovsky.
A little bit more beat to the drum, and the corner delivered well. Francis tried to get his big frame in. Scored 4 goals in a handful of matches since coming from Wynnum, where he was the top scorer in Queensland, so he's certainly a focal point, but there's plenty of other contenders as well.
I think what he's done since Luke Francis has come in, he's taken the pressure off Jason Romero in that number 10 spot, and also Jonas Markowski, who was a regular in the side all season long. So he's taken the pressure for goals off them and that physical element, and he's helped them to play.
Okay, let's bring in Caleb Horrocks pitch side at BT Connor Reserve.
Yeah, perfect conditions for football here in Melbourne. Not often you can say that. In terms of the Preston coach Louis Asevsky, he's calling for the ball in behind much quicker. And it's been a fairly shaky start from both sides, pretty cagey affair, and the Preston fans have certainly turned up today in their numbers.
Thanks, Caleb. It looks like they may have switched fullbacks too. Negro now popping up on the left, and I can only assume Felino on the right now, just to show them something a little bit different.
Yeah, well, they're obviously, as I spoke on earlier, Mustafi and Wigan, their pace in behind is obviously a threat, but
this may be a threat too. Kai Denton has to deal with Bozanovsky, and now double teamed by Stefan Negro, and the experience wins out. Negro had such an explosive start to his career at Melbourne Victory. Francis coming deep. And again, their delivery into that midfield and forward third has been disappointing so far. The use of possession by Preston, I'm sure, would be frustrating Louis Asevsky.
Yeah, their end product so far hasn't been quite there. Maybe a little bit of jitters, a little bit of first game nerves, but I'm sure at home they'll come good in time, David.
There's Wigan combining with Cornwall. Good 1-2. Kavanagh tries a shot with a non-preferred side, and it was a decent attempt too. No real pressure at the face of the penalty area there from the Preston back four, and I think that's the source of frustration, especially for such a gnarly defender like Sash Oganovsky. He would not like to see moments like that pop up too often.
Absolutely not, but I think from a spirit point of view, I think they'll be frustrated. There was one more pass in this move here. I think he's peaked a bit soon there, has Kavanagh. But as you said, look, for a defender, you're comfortable. If they're shooting from 25, 30 yards, you're quite happy.
Kubalate. You can see his silky touch on the ball. Now Brooks delivers the cross early. Oh, Francis's first touch was heavy. It was a perfect delivery. Big striker was onside, and a moment lost there for Preston. Wigan. Such a reliable player, but just on his haunches after that touch. We know it's been a bit of a rush preparation for all sides after both competed in their respective final series. Both out at the same stage. Preston won the elimination final against Oakley. It's a pretty fiery encounter, that particular elimination final. Well defended there by Preston, but they win the ball back pretty quickly in midfield. It's been a bit of a pattern in the first 20 minutes of play. Spirit won the NPL Premiership in New South Wales with a match to spare, their second last match, a 3-1 win over Central Coast Mariners at Christie Park. Wigan was in that team, and Ua Kubo scored twice. Conestabo a third before the half hour, so they had it wrapped up pretty quickly. And both those players missing, of course. Kubo's made the move to Hong Kong, and Conestabo, we'll see him in the championship, but probably not for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I suppose after a big trip over to Europe, he needs to get back up to match speed pretty quickly. I'm sure he's looking after himself. But yeah, they could definitely do his goals back in the team fairly quickly, would definitely help their cause.
Yeah, Frank Marchi was telling me, the club president, he's been in contact with Conestabo about eating the right things. It's all well and true to do it on paper, but when you're actually over there, it's a lot harder. Corner for Spirit. Played short. And the reverse move does not come off, but there was contact on the edge of the area. No real interest there for the referee. Ethan De Bono, he's the young boy from Newcastle Jets from the academy. He's been sent on loan to get important minutes. Of course, Newcastle cock a hoop at their Australia Cup trophy, the first in what is it, 17 years perhaps? I think it's something like that. Under Mark Milligan, former club of yours, Roy. It was a high-class final, a lot of drama, and another example of how some of the traditional clubs can engender that type of passion in Australian football.
Absolutely, and that's what this Australian Championship is trying to achieve as well. And from a Newcastle point of view, and living there myself, it's great for the town. But the likes of Ethan De Bono going out on loan now, it's great for the young players to get an opportunity like this.
Here's Foligno, back on his preferred side. Cuts back inside, good shape to the cross. And I don't think Leighton Brooks got hold of the trajectory of that ball. Foligno did all the right things.
Yeah, right idea. Again, comes in on his right foot, looks up early for Luke Francis. He's overcooked it a little bit.
Just misjudged the flight of that. Preston's number 7. Here's Luke Jego. Great touch in the middle for Romero, who shows great strength and great opportunity this. Here's Brooks, one-on-one with the keeper virtually, but it closed down quickly. Oh, that's great defending. Superb effort by Nicholas, I think it was.
Yeah, great
Simon
defender.
Nicholas.
Yeah, great defender by Simon Nicholas there. You think for all the world when Romero gets his head up and finds Leighton Brooks, it's going to be a touch and hit, but he took too long to make his mind up, and Simon Nicholas was nice and sharp there to clear the danger.
Young De Bono just getting a good message from Luca Falcone, the coach of New South Wales, or NWS Spirit, I should say. Of course, he was the assistant under David Perkovich last season. He's a performance psychologist as well. Got to practice in Sydney. Difficult ball to defend. But, no joy there for Spirit. Negro comes out, but their pressing has been really impressive in the match so far, Spirit. Every time the midfield of Preston get on the ball, they are immediately under pressure.
Like we see right here, there's just like a wave of yellow coming to close that ball down and put the pressure on, especially Kulabay and Jago in midfield. They don't want them getting on the ball and getting their head up.
Here's Foligno. Bell. Of course, they've got Gian Albano and Jonas Markowski on the bench, and that was an errant pass by Bell. He got away with one there. Negro ends up with it, wants an option short. Brooks presents himself. Now driving, run by Leighton Brooks. His second touch was too heavy. They'll win it back though through sheer weight of numbers here, Preston. Here's the captain, Luke Jago. Brooks has an option out wide in Negro. Stefan Negro just needed a better touch. Tried to cut back inside.
Good defender by Mustafi though, you must say. It was 2v1 at one point there. He handled that very well.
Now they'll get it back. No, they won't, because Mustafi once more is there to snuff out the pressure. Bozanowski, who scored 3 goals, I think 2 from set pieces from memory for Preston last season. Such a reliable defender. I think he'll be, as the season goes on, he'll be in pretty hot competition with his brother Damien for a starting spot. That's going to be interesting.
He sure will, and they're both not the smallest guys. They're 2 big boys, 2 commanding figures at the back there.
Feel sorry for Mrs. Bozanowski cooking the nightly meal. Of course, very close both players to Stefan Negro, who's a long-time Melbourne Victory player. And there is the captain, Grant Cornwell, for Spirit, who wears the armband with great pride. Incredible club man. In his 15th year with Spirit.
Wow.
After a short spell with Blacktown, but other than that, he's been with NWS Spirit the whole time. Brooks has got through a power of work, and they're looking a little bit more dangerous in wide areas, Preston, as the half has gone on.
Yeah, it's definitely taken them a little bit longer than it has Spirit to find their rhythm, but they're certainly starting to pass the ball that little bit better now.
Free kick picked out. And a yellow card there on Stefan Negro.
Yeah, a little bit late there. Not much in it.
In behind once more, Spirit. Cutback was good, but there was no yellow shirt arriving at the near post. And once more, they find themselves under enormous pressure, clearing their lines. Hoofed up towards Bell. Here's Francis through the middle, the Sheffield-born striker. 2 Englishmen in the front 3 for Preston. Francis thought about the shot, clipped over the top, searching for Kubalay, who lobs it back post. Arriving is Brooks. Oh, spectacular effort, but he got it all wrong there, Luke Francis. And perhaps the best moment of the first half for Preston.
Yeah, that's definitely their best moment by a country mile, and I think Luke Francis got a little bit excited there. He went a bit too soon, but positive play all around for Preston. Nice ball back in. Leighton Brooks coming into the back there, and Luke Francis, his eyes lit up. He could see the morning newspaper, and he just got it that little bit wrong.
He did. He saw the headlines before they were written. This time the pressure heaped on Chris Marks. Got out of a tight situation. Jago. Tchaikovsky. Foligno. Takami and Kubalay are very similar, aren't they, in the way they play in the midfield? Almost, they could be twin brothers.
Yeah.
Great passing range and anticipation, and that's not the best square pass by Tchaikovsky. They've danced a difficult step in the first half so far, Preston. Haven't quite found their rhythm at the back. Now they may be a chance to open up the pitch through Foligno. Advantage played. Dom Foligno, what can he produce? Good touch. Slaloming run. Here's Romero. He doesn't mind a ping from long range. Cross delivered. Onto the head. And Francis draws a good save out of Chris Marks. And that is another positive moment for Preston Macedonia.
Very positive play indeed. The last couple of minutes now, they're definitely finding their feet and their fans are finding their voice. Foligno initially done really well down this left-hand side. Gets switched up by Romero. Negro again looks up, looks for Luke Francis. Terrific header, but what a save by Chris Marks, by the way.
Cross this time, back post. Chris Marks under pressure. Player goes down in red. Francis, Marks fills it. And a goalmouth clearance saves the day for Spirit FC. Well, suddenly the pressure mounted on the number one of the team in yellow. Jamie Perchevsky's not too happy about something. Romero fouled. He wants something a little more than just a free kick, though. American-born player who had a short spell at MacArthur Rams, played professionally in Sweden, Indonesia as well. Here's Dzeko. Space on the right for Preston to explore. Leighton Brooks can't beat his man, but he can win the corner. He does.
Yeah, well, this was the moment here. So a little bit of a mix-up at the back. Ball finds its way through. Chris Marks loses the ball, and again, Francis, he's had 3 opportunities in the last couple of minutes. He's definitely sniffing out a goal. Good defending in the end, though.
Corner clipped in to the back post, searching for Bozanovsky. And the second effort almost went in. Now, Ryan Scott can't believe that Preston haven't scored. And Chris Marks is a goalkeeper under siege. Bozanovsky with the first effort. Let's see who came up with the second.
So the ball comes in. Bozanovsky, like we know, is the big threat at the back stick. I think it was Leighton Brooks coming around. And Chris Marks is earning his bonus money today so far.
He was the winger, Leighton Brooks. Often called Takami at training because his middle name is Japanese background. Chris Marks, 4th season, described by his former coach as being a very normal goalkeeper, which is unusual. We know how crazy they are normally.
He's a bloody good goalkeeper, I know that much.
Yeah.
He's the last few years in the competition, he's been the standout goalkeeper for me.
St George City for 2 years as well. So the set pieces are providing some difficulties here for Spirit. Clipped in by Dzeko. Repelled by Marks. And this time Kubele lets fly. And it's all hands at deck at the moment for Spirit FC.
Preston are finding their feet, certainly.
A really good spell for the home side. And it's a big moment, big afternoon, Roy, for David Svetkovsky and his board at Preston Lions. There's 300 names in very fine print on the back of each of the red shirts, signifying sponsors and individuals who've put $300 into the club. There's no big benefactor at the Lions. There's just great community support. Also, the Darebin Council as well provides that with BT Connor Reserve, Jenna Still Stadium. So it is a real community feel to the team in red, that's for sure.
Huge credit due to them as well. You said earlier on, the last NSL game, what a low crowd they had. You look at that today, you look at the support they have from their local community, that passion, you know, that love for the game, that love for their community. It's great to see.
Here's Wigan. It's been very few forays forward in the attacking third of the Spirit. They win the free kick here though. It's cleverly done by the young man Ethan De Bono, and a yellow card produced on the big centre forward Francis. It's exactly what Luca Falcone will want to see from his young wide attacking player De Bono. And Dakami can fashion a free kick. We saw that in the New South Wales Premier League many times. Andrea Dakami. Let's see if Preston deal with the set piece a little bit better than Spirit has at the other end. 10 minutes before the break. Clipped in by Dakami, back post. Oh, and the volley straight into the lap there of Ryan Scott. Any width at all, it may have been 1-0 there.
Yeah, straight down the keeper's throat. Corey Kavanagh came in around the back stick, got good contact, but as you said, straight down the middle.
That was a moment, wasn't it, for Spirit FC? Preston, the last time they won a top flight championship in Victoria, it was 2007 under Goran Lozanovsky, the former Socceroo, former South Melbourne championship player under Ange Postecoglou. He's a club great, and previous to that, John Markovsky coached them to victory in 2002. And there's Sash Ogdanovsky with Lubiasevsky. In fact, Lubiasevsky was, the last time they won the championship was there at the beginning of the season before a move to the then Czech Republic, now Czechia. So that's how far he goes back with the club that he loves. Kubele with a lovely switch. Bell, good first touch. Here's Connor Bell, great chance. And a block. Romero tried to pick up the pieces. He may get a chance coming back. The rebound favoured him. Here's the American Romero! And a neat finish by Jason Romero. The opening goal of Preston's campaign in the championship falls to the American. It was coming. And Jason Romero scores just before half-time.
And you just felt that was coming, David. It's been the last 10-15 minutes has been relentless pressure really from Preston Lions, and the initial pass switch of play from Kubele over to Connor Bell, you thought it was an opportunity missed. Again, the ball wasn't held up well. Romero, once he gets into these positions, we've seen it so many times for Appiah Leichardt in the past, that little bit of quality and a great finish. When he gets in here, there was no mistake. Comes in, he's patient, he waits, finds his spot, and even Chris Marks on this form can't keep that out. Didn't the Preston Lions fans enjoy that?
They certainly did. 7 goals last season, the second highest goal scorer, and with Jonas Markovsky they were really battling for that number 10 position Romero had it for the first third of the season. Then Markowski found his form after the introduction, would you believe, of Ryan Scott. That was really the turning point for Preston Lions last campaign. And Romero has won that spot back for the first match of the championship. And he scored first. And look at the poll there. Just click the QR code if you want to have a say in the outcome of this match. Who will win? Well, it's looking like Preston at the moment. It certainly wasn't looking the case early doors in this match. And here's Spirit FC through Wigan, trying to fashion an opening. That's a lovely ball in behind, and De Bono's thumping shot at the near post. Somehow Ryan Scott kept that out.
Well, that was quality play there from Wigan on that right-hand side. Little bit of a drop of a shoulder. And, you know, I think Ethan De Bono made a lovely run in behind. And, again, down the keeper's throat, Ryan Scott done very well to deal with it. We see in the replay here. Wigan, little step over, cuts back, sucks the defenders in, finds the space. De Bono gets a shot off. And it's a good solid stop from Ryan Scott.
And from a striker's point of view, how about the awareness of De Bono to stay onside?
Terrific,
Just
terrific.
Punctuate his run. That was quality by the young man. And let's see what they can do from the set piece. Kai Denton, the striker, takes it from the left foot and repelled there by Bozanovsky. Will Denton pick up the scraps? Good first touch. Here's Wigan. And that amounts to nothing for Spirit FC. So Jason Romero's goal stands between these two teams, and it's been an entertaining first 41 minutes or so at BT Connor Reserve. Here's Kubelet. He's been a really silky player in the middle of the park. Strokes it wide for Negro, who's off. Can he play in Romero? But it was a poor delivery. It allows Mustafi to get back and defend for Spirit FC. Clipped over the top. Well defended by Kubelet, who does drop back in when the fullbacks get forward for Preston. He's just got such very good game awareness. Bozanovsky gives away the free kick, and a set piece opportunity late in the half for Spirit FC. Takami clips it into the back post, and again De Bono makes a good run, or this occasion it was the club captain Cornwell, who doesn't venture forward in that attacking third too often. On that occasion got into a dangerous area.
Yeah, but well marshalled by Connor Bell there to win the free kick and buy his team some time to get set up for the set piece and waste away another minute.
Well, Ryan Scott's first match, he conceded 4 goals against Oakley, and then went 6 matches with a clean sheet in the Victorian NPL, and was largely the reason why they made that impressive run to the finals. Of course, their clean sheet run ended in that elimination final against Oakley, but they still won the match. So 7 matches in a row they were successful in the NPL.
But getting the right characters at your club, the likes of Ryan Scott, obviously he's a leader, he's a really big character. Getting the right kind of people down the spine of your team like that as well makes a hell of a difference.
Jason Romero is one of those energetic, sometimes tempestuous players, but he gives the club a lot of spirit, plays with his heart. He loves the club, as does Connor Bell. They talk quite often about the love of the Preston Lions and that emotional connection. And now a late stream forward here for Spirit FC. There may be an opportunity. Young man DeBono's done well. Here he is, dancing through the middle.
Unlucky though, he's full of confidence. DeBono, you can see why Spirit have decided to take a chance on him for this tournament.
I'm sure Mark Milligan's going to keep tabs on him. He's a young player that, you know, the Jets could have released, but they've kept him on loan. Well, they pushed him out to Spirit to get some game time, just to assess where he's at. Cornwell tries to the ball in behind. It was well weighted too. Needs defending by Preston. Tchaikovsky combining a couple of minutes of added time to close out this first half. Takami. Nicholas clipping forward. Jacko there to tidy up in a free kick to relieve the pressure for Preston.
Yeah, Preston aren't in any rush now. They're quite happy with their 1-goal advantage and take that into half time. They don't want to take any chances right now.
Scott delivers a perfectly weighted ball in the path of Brooks. Takes a good first touch. Here's a chance. Romero for double! And it's beaten away by Chris Marks. Looking for a brace before half time, and that would have been quite a goal from the angle. But how about that? The release from Ryan Scott, absolutely perfect.
That was a ping and a half from Ryan Scott there. Opened up the whole defence from nowhere. Leighton Brooks got the ball back to Romero, and he struck it quite well, but he had to hit it better than that to beat Chris Marks in this kind of form.
Well, Leighton Brooks may have started off in a quiet fashion, but as the half has grown on, he's really, in stature, imposed himself on this match. So I'm sure Louis Oseski will have mixed emotions, really. In a sense, he'll be disappointed with some of their early defending, but really impressed in the way they've imposed themselves on the latter part of this half.
Definitely, and I think he'll be speaking about their distribution of the ball for the second half. That'll be a big point of his at half time.
And there it is, half-time whistle blown by referee Quartermain. It was a patchy one for the home side, but Jason Romero popped up in the 38th minute with an opportunistic goal to continue his goal sneak reputation at the Preston Lions. An important strike at the near post after a couple of positive build-ups before that went awry for Preston. But at half-time, they lead by 1-0 over FC Spirit. Welcome back. BT Connor Reserve is the venue, and it's been a passionate, sometimes edgy first half. Spirit FC started really well. They asked a lot of Preston in the first 15 minutes, but the home side found their rhythm, found their attacking swagger, and just before the break scored through Jason Romero. Fans have loved the atmosphere. Football back on the national stage at some of the traditional clubs. And we got 6,000 at Lakeside Stadium to see that very good opener against South Melbourne, beating Sydney Olympic, the late winner. Some spectacular goals in that match. But we've got some traditional giants of the game in Australia, in South Melbourne, Heidelberg, Preston. Great history with Apia and Sydney Olympic as well. And you've been speaking to some champions of the past, Roy, about their views of the championship.
And that's right. I mean, this competition is obviously it's brand new, but like you're touching on, and you're a big part of this as well, David, the history of the old NSL and the passion. And I suppose some of the heroes of yesteryear, the Paul O'Cons, Paul Trimbolis, Sasha Ogdanovsky, Matt Horsley from Wollongong Woods, Andy Pascalidis. But can you speak to me on some of your memories from the good old days?
I'm aging myself here, right, because it goes back 35 years to 1990 when I first called my first NSL match, Adelaide City versus Wollongong Macedonia, at a small suburban ground in Adelaide. And it was a great thrill, and the memories were tremendous too, because that Adelaide City side that Zoran Madic coached had a lot of Socceroos in it at the time. Robbie Zabika, Serge Melter was in that side, Alex Tobin, the great Milan Ivanovic. So some big names in Australian football at that moment, in that era. And it was a small ground that Ross Aloisi made his debut for Adelaide City at 16 years of age, and a young 14-year-old John Aloisi was watching.
Wow.
Watching me being hoisted up on a cherry picker to commentate on the match.
And here you are all these years later.
That's it.
You're still building the game up and giving it some colour and some credibility. So good on you, David.
Well, I'm loving it. Loving the return of club football to SBS. That's what it's all about. For a long time, SBS were the broadcasters of the National Soccer League. They produced so many great characters, so many great footballers over the years. And the passion returns in the championship. And we know Preston are a very ambitious club. So are Spirit FC. We saw that with their premiership win in the New South Wales Premier League last campaign. So these two clubs have got similarities. They've been in the top flight Spirit for 3 years, won the promotion in the Waratah Cup, and the nucleus of that side has continued on. And we know Preston have won 3 promotions since 2019. And Louis Asevsky's been a big part of their story, their modern day story. So second half underway at BT Connor Reserve, and Jason Romero's helped the Preston Lions to a 1-0 lead, an advantage that is not comprehensive by any means. We know both players, or both teams, have got quality on the bench, and we've seen some moves at the half-time interval, which is understandable given the fact that they're early in a campaign.
Hasn't been much between these two teams in the first half, definitely. If I'm going to be a little bit critical of Spirit, I think they need to get the ball into this man a lot quicker. Ollie Wigan as well. I thought in the first half, Afuka and Kai Denton were frozen out a little bit of the ball. So if they can get the ball into them a little bit quicker and ask some questions of Preston Lions, they might have half a chance in getting back into this game.
Yeah, we didn't see much of Afuka in the first half. Here he is on the ball, clipping it near post. A good build-up too that included the left wing-back Mustafi, who was a decent attacking outlet in the first half. And there is the man who scored 13 goals last campaign. But it was Akubo, his countryman, who left to play club football in Hong Kong, that was the leading scorer with 18 goals.
He was, but Ofuka scored 13 of his own, but also he was involved either assisting or secondary assist on a lot of the goals we've saw in the build-up to this game.
Here's Takami delivering the corner. Square, it was a decent first touch.
Big centre back there, Persevsky, not used to being in those attacking positions there, taking on a full back in a 1v1, but he's won his team a throw.
They haven't got any Max Mikolas in their lineup, so there won't be a long throw there for Spirit. Clip forward, good weight on the ball to the byline. Opportunity, and it was Ofuka too, with a moment and a slash of the right boot. But no joy there for Spirit FC.
No, but good link up on that right hand side. Kai Denton getting in behind, and he knocks a nice ball back into the area. But yeah, not really great purchase on the ball from Ofuka.
Starting the second half like they began the match with a bit of zest and purpose. Team in yellow. But, Connor Bell relieves the pressure with that free kick. Well, Sasha Oganovsky's the man closest to camera. We know he's provided the defensive steel in a campaign that was largely successful in that department, and this man has a lot to do with it, Ryan Scott. 6 clean sheets in a row after he conceded 4 goals. His head must have been spinning away to Oakley Cannons in that mid-season league match, and then they righted the ship with it. So they followed the worst defeat they had in the season with the best win, a 5-0 victory over Port Melbourne in the next match. Amazing swing of form. And now it's Spirit pushing forward once more. Bosanovsky steps out well.
Yeah, Kai Denton as a striker there as a number 9. When you've got a big centre half like Bosanovsky playing against you, you've got to really block his line. So you either get the ball to hold it up or you force a foul from him. Kai Denton waited and Bosanovsky just nipped in there.
Stofy's had a great battle with Brooks on that flank. Ball whipped in there by Jeggo. Had great shape on it. Blustery day, so not an easy one. Chris Marks had to maintain his concentration. Looked easy, but wasn't. Preston looking to win the ball high. Ends up with Bell. Needed a better first touch. Of course, they've got the option of both Markovsky and
Albano would be another good one from the bench, who famously scored that Panenka penalty kick against South Melbourne.
And that was the most viral goal in the NPL last season. Almost into Preston folklore, that Panenka. 9,500 at this stadium on a chilly Friday night. Here's Romero, pokes it forward to Bell. Francis making up the ground. Connor Bell on the angle. Hits the high side netting. Well, Francis made that darting run to provide the option, but Connor Bell thought, well, I'm going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it was, again, lovely play from Romero in the middle of the field. Connor Bell, I should say, made a lovely run in behind. If anything, his touch took him a little bit wide in the end. It's a very difficult finish from this angle. Persevsky done his job there perfectly.
Yeah, the pullback was perhaps on to Luke Francis.
The big striker will be letting Connor Bell know as well where he is.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
He'll be belting his voice out on him.
Spoken like a true striker. Mustafi helped on by Ofuka. Ends up with Bell though. He's a neat attacking player, but Gianno Barno provides something a little bit different. A bit more penetration and thrust from the wing, so certainly Luisevski knows he's got that at his disposal. And Jonas Markowski perhaps a little bit more potent from the set piece than Jason Romero, who scored in this match. So different qualities on the bench.
Great options to have, though.
Yellow card for Jake Tchaikovsky. Little pull of the shirt when his opponent was away. Referee Quartermain had no hesitation. Well, a little lash out, in fact. It wasn't a pull of the shirt, and that was potentially not a good situation for Tchaikovsky. Flailing studs. We know he can go and red line a little bit the centre half. Free kick for Spirit. Club established in 1947, so a rich history, but it's been an up and down spell in Victorian football, as we've heard in the build up to this match. Clearance from Bozanovski. Here's Nicholas, neat defender. Corey Kavanagh pings it forward. One of the air there by Foligno. A real striker's instinct, wasn't it, from Jason Romero, that finish at the near post.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Just the way he's not the quickest player in the world, but the way he slowed the defender down and just picked his spot. And as we know, Chris Marks has been in great form, but there was no stopping it, was there?
Now some space here for Spirit to explore. Cross from Ollie Wiggin was cut out. Foligno did his job. Luisevski looking a little tense and nervous on the touchline. Out of his seat, Wiggin. Good touch there by Brooks. Here's Negro. Not quite in the veteran class, but certainly a lot of experience. 3 A-League clubs. Plenty of exposure in the NPL Victoria. Connor Bell. Patient build up this. So Harry Keys is on for De Bono's second half. Brooks, shoulder to shoulder with Mustafi, who did well. Composed defending. Jacko may get a second chance to create something here. Good weight. And it should be in. It is. It's a tap in for Luke Francis.
Offside.
The flag is up for offside. He's pinballing around. What about the service there from Stefan Negro?
Terrific delivery. I'd like to see that again.
Are we going to get a chance?
Lovely ball in behind. He must have been just a yard off.
Oh.
Cornwell, 15 years at the club, and that might have been one of his most nervous moments there. He's delighted to see that offside flag go up.
And 2-0 would have been a long way back there for Spirit FC. A great ball pinged by Takami. And they stream forward with purpose here. well defended by Trakowski. And Romero may spark a counter-attack. Francis is onside for the moment. Just didn't get the angle for the pass there.
Yeah, he got his head up. He saw 2 forward runs, and maybe he had too many options. He did neither in the end.
Afuka. He's been a noticeably quiet player for Spirit. Takami. Kavanagh. Doesn't score too many goals, Corey Kavanagh, but one of those players remaining from the Waratah Cup, where they won promotion in the top flight of New South Wales football back in 2022. And Francis, he's onside too, accepting from Brooks, but misses the target. What a beautifully weighted pass there from Leighton Brooks. And Trevor Francis is, Luke Francis, his eyes lit up there.
They did, and it was a lovely play from Leighton Brooks. He's made a good run in behind as well, and the goalkeeper Marks was in no man's land, and he'll be awfully pleased that Francis rushed his shot in the end.
Harry Keys leading the line now for Spirit. There he is trying to get on the ball. A sub brewing for the home side. Louis Asevsky looks to his bench for the first time in the match. It wasn't that a difficult 20 minutes for Chris Marks in the first half.
It really was, and it just shows you the outstanding character as a goalkeeper. You know, he wasn't one of those ranting and raving at his team. He just got the job done and made some good saves for his team to keep them in it.
Absolutely, they were a tight-knit unit, that's for sure. Pachevsky, Cornwell and Nicholas at the back, and the wide defenders, Wigan and Mustofi. Bell. Is there an attacking move in the offing for Louis Asevsky? Well, they can afford to game manage, but they can't sit on their heels too much because they know the attacking threats there from Spirit. We're talking about Preston, of course. So good ball in behind for Francis. Needs players to feed off him now. Does well to get it back. Kubalay rides one challenge. Oliver Kubalay, what a cutback. Connor Bell. And Francis can't get purchase on that shot. Moment lost there for Preston. Maybe at the other end it's Harry Keys with a chance. Corner well won by Spirit FC.
Yeah, well won by Kai Denton, but he's very isolated. How long he had that ball without any support. You know, it's too long. As soon as that ball goes forward, the midfield for Spirit and the defence, they need to push up and support him if they're going to get back into this game.
And the young man from, well, not so young these days, 27, Aidan Kyra, big striker, former Apia and Blacktown Spartans centre forward, so they're throwing some attacking zest on the pitch for the second half. Half an hour remaining. Corner swung in near post, and Ryan Scott was late to react. You don't say that too often. Afuka. Takami. Numbers there for Spirit, but there was 3 in the wrong area because they needed someone in the middle. They may get a second chance at this. Delivery poor. Jeko's clearance wasn't convincing. Francis just slows the tempo down.
And he's done that well all day. He's held the line really well. He's held the ball up by and large really well. He's probably be disappointed that he's not on the score sheet, but I think he's been, along with Bozanovsky, Luke Francis, they've been really standout players for Preston Lions today.
And momentarily branded him England international and Trevor Francis. I'm getting my Francis mixed up there. Caleb Horrocks is at BT Connor Reserve. How's the second half shaping in your eye, Caleb?
Yeah, really picking up this second 45 minutes. You get that sense of urgency from the Spirit looking for an equalising goal and Preston looking for the second goal. As for Louis Yosefsky, very animated on the touchline, had some fairly choice words to the fourth official. For Luca Falcone, more relaxed, more calm. He just wants his side to turn these half chances into clear-cut chances.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what they need to do. Just a little bit more quality in the forward third required for Spirit. They've got the quality there, it just needs to come out in those moments of opportunity. That was Wigan closed down. Safety first. And there is the poll. It's very much favouring the home side, 72-28, despite the fact that it's only 1-0. Looking to add to that. And Negro marching forward. He's yet to score at any level for Preston Lions. Stefan Negro. A couple of times he threatened, but goal-scoring gods have not shone upon him well enough. Here's Francis. Romero Francis! He returns the favour. Closed down by some robust defending. Pachewski in the middle for Spirit. And Mustafi tries to get out of a tight situation. Well, Romero, we know, has provided some nifty assists in his time with Preston and indeed his spell with Apia in the New South Wales Premier League.
He's been excellent. I think he's been a terrific link player, and that link up between him and Francis there, I love seeing that from attacking players. Good defending in the end, last ditch stuff from Spirit, but Louis Yosefsky will be very happy with how his front two are linking up together.
As we heard from Caleb, he's been giving the fourth official a bit of a talking to. Wouldn't be the only coach in that category.
Certainly not.
Just a flailing arm has caught Kubalay in the eye, but play goes on. Brooks couldn't retain possession. Here's Jego, who gets through a power of work for Preston. Where's the captain's armband? Of course, the only Jego currently playing, because James, his Socceroo brother, has retired. Only in his early 30s, I might add. But had a lot of injuries in the latter part of his career. Direct ball played in the feet of Romero, but here's a turnover. Harry Keys on the angle, just couldn't release Kai Denton at the right time. Aidan Kira, well, Kyra is in that central striking position as well. Here's another overlapping run, this time by Wigan. Watched carefully by Bell. Slow burn build up. Afuka. Now the Preston defence pushes out. Bell just caught on his heels but recovered well. Great anticipation by Connor Bell. That's exactly why he's a fan favourite at Geneseo Stadium. Harry Keys. Still Harry Keys. Does he win the free kick? Referee not too interested.
Unlucky though. I mean, that's what he's been sent on there. He's sent on to be positive and make things happen. I think along with Harry Keys now and Aidan Kyra up top, I think they've put, from just watching the game here, Afuka has moved in more central. So obviously Luca Falcone is thinking they need to get him on the ball more, and get him into those central areas. So watch that space.
Yeah, looks like might be a double change in the offing for Preston. Albano's warming up with Sir Dennis as well. Yeah, so Sir Dennis and Albano, the men about to come on for Preston Lions. Afuka gives away the free kick, and that's a pressure relieving free kick for Preston. And there it is, the 77 in place of Ollie Bell. So Albano on, and also coming off the big centre forward in Luke Francis. So they bring different qualities to the pitch. Of course, Albano is one of those rambunctious wingers who gets forward, real forward-facing, attacking wide player. Sir Dennis, more a crafty finisher. Giorgio Sir Dennis is 21 years of age. In fact, turned 21 on Monday the 6th of October. So a happy 21 to him. 21st birthday. So let's see if he can score in the week of his 21st. That would be a great celebration, wouldn't it?
What a way to celebrate that would be.
Ex-Melbourne City youth player.
But Connor Bell and Luke Francis coming off, I suppose they've put in, you know, the hard yards today for 70 minutes, and Louis Asevsky is basically saying to Albano and Sir Dennis now, go and win us the game.
And Jamie Pachewski's on strewn on the pitch, copped a nasty one to the forehead. It's a yellow card there for Sir Dennis. He's been on the pitch for less than 2 minutes. The referee Quartermain said, I'm not impressed about your 21st birthday. I'm going to give you a yellow ticket.
That's not a birthday card, that's a yellow card.
Exactly. Nothing written. There's no love hearts on that card.
No. Yeah, I don't think he's went to elbow him. He just, the way his motion was to get up for the ball. It's an unfortunate one.
Section of the fans baying Preston on for 3 points in this opening match. Every group match virtually is a final, because the top two go through to the quarters. You can't tempt fate in the early stages. You've got to get those points on the board and just game manage yourself to the knockout phases of this new competition, the championship. And when you consider they play the NPL season, Roy, and they've obviously now got potentially another 9 matches they play. So virtually these semi-pros are signed as professional players from this point.
Correct.
Aren't
they? They've been going for 12, 13 months already, if you take into account pre-season and all the games there. And then they've got this Group C, which is, if you get a win today, you know, you got Avondale to come, Canberra, Croatia. It's not getting any easier. So 3 points on the board would be massive to kickstart your campaign.
The derby with Avondale will be a spicy one. Preston v Avondale. Not sure what we're going to get with Canberra, Croatia, but that's the whole beauty of the championship. You're just matching territories and states against each other, the best of the best, and just seeing where Australian football lies in that space.
That's right. And so far, so good. I think every game so far has had its own qualities. Plenty of young players getting their time to shine.
Opportunity here for Spirit to get numbers forward. It's a clever ball. Kyra out, as he should do as a centre forward, just holding up the play, bringing other teammates into the equation. Kyra turns. Here's Mustafi. It's been an impressive debut from him. And that's a decent cross too in the middle. Bozanovski well positioned to snuff the danger out. I've been really impressed with Aidan Mustafi.
He's been excellent, up and down all day.
And that's a lovely ball in behind. Little tug of the shirt. Here's a chance. And superb defending on Leighton Brooks.
Terrific work there by Corey Kavanagh. For all the world you thought Leighton Brooks was in. He was either picking his pass or his shot. Corey Kavanagh came from nowhere to snuff it out.
Well, Leighton Brooks' eyes must have lit up there. That was a great chance to put the match perhaps beyond the reach of Spirit FC. And they win the free kick in the middle of the park. It's been a robust sort of match, hasn't it?
Has been. Got a bit of cramp here. 13 months into a season. 12 months into a season.
Nothing wrong with his first touch, perhaps. Could have pushed it wider of the defender.
Yeah, I think he initially thought he could get in on goal himself, and then he saw the yellow shirt coming towards him and it was too late. Just terrific defending really to snuff out the danger from Corey Kavanagh. But good positive play there. Albano just on the park as well, linking up with Leighton Brooks, both white players.
And Gian Albano brings that type of energy. It was a really spicy semi-final against Heidelberg at Olympic Village that saw Preston Lions out of the NPL this season. That's after they won their elimination final against Oakley away from home. They had a tremendous first 30 minutes in that particular match. And Romero has got through a power of work, scoring a crucial goal. And that finals win was the first in 17 years in the top flight of Victorian football for Preston. In the elimination final at Jack Edwards Stadium, Albano with a super finish, and Valino with a deflected goal in that first stanza of that elimination final. Winless since 2007 at Olympic Village as well, and they pushed the eventual champions all the way. And Ryan Scott, who we know he's been a great club man, you mentioned how much of an impact he had at Newcastle Jets. He had the same type of impact at Western United in his time there. Didn't see too much first team football, but when he did, and even in support, he was a superb club man. The bricklayer, who's said to have laid at least 200 bricks a day in his work, and that is a huge mistake by Chris Marks. So uncharacteristic. Albano squares it. Romero should finish, and he doesn't. Well, they've got away with a huge one there, Spirit FC. What was Chris Marks thinking? He had no radar for danger, and Preston have failed to make them pay.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been called upon in a long time, and it looked like he switched off a little bit. And yeah, as the ball gets played back to him, he took way too long. And Sir Dennis was waiting for that 21st birthday present. He nearly got it. And Romero, for all the world, yeah, they done everything but score there.
Was Albano being too unselfish, perhaps, with the square ball? Jego floats the corner. Albano's provided a great spark. Difficult ball controlled well by the captain. They may come out here through Kyra, and they build on the left. Afuka. Again, his influence has been minimal in this match. Kyra faces forward from long range, needed a wicked deflection to worry Ryan Scott from that sort of distance.
but you just feel with Spirit they're struggling to penetrate. You know, shooting from 25, 30 metres, that's gonna suit Preston Lions all day long.
Albano controls a difficult ball well, and a teasing run by Gian Albano. The Perth-born winger just pings one in near post, and Marks collected one for his troubles. It's been that sort of match for Chris Marks. And they're ringing the changes now. Marcus Schrone, the policeman, veteran of the NPL in Victoria. Jonas Markowski coming on with Lawton for Preston Lions. Captain's armband for Marcus Schrone. He's earned it because he's been a great servant for Preston and formerly with South Melbourne as well. He made his debut in the NPL with Louis Asevsky's Hume City all those years ago. Brandon Lawton. Former Melbourne Victory man, played 24 matches in the A-League for Victory. He's on the pitch as well. Jackson Brown for Spirit. So they're ringing the changes, and some new faces for both clubs coming onto the pitch. Caleb Jackson Brown, ex-Blacktown City, box-to-box midfielder. And now Preston in the ascendancy. Albano drops the shoulder, delivers with some pace but not direction at that near post. They'll be looking to get Jonas Markowski in a dead ball situation just outside the area. You know what he can produce. Here's Lawton, good first touch. Wins the throw for Preston. Came off the knee there of Schrone, so chance for Spirit to build from the back. There's some new faces on the pitch. Menergy in the remaining minutes of the match, which is 10 minutes before injury time. Lawton tries to turn it around for Preston. And there is Sasha Okanowski and Caleb. What's the mood amongst the benches there?
Yeah, as we enter the last 10 to 15 minutes, it's kind of gotten a bit flat here, but Preston dictating the tempo of the game pretty well. But you get that sense that a second goal is coming, or there's a few more twists and turns before the final whistle blows here in Preston.
And we get exactly the same sense, Caleb. You would think that Preston is favoured to score because Spirit, Roy, have just lacked a little bit of quality in the forward third.
Yeah, understandably so, maybe. As we spoke about earlier, Michael Conestabo and Akubo leaving in the off-season has made a big difference to how they go about attacking.
Here's Sir Dennis off on a gallivanting run, but losing his footing. And the fans feel like it's a foul on the Preston player. There's the sponsors at the back on the shirt of Louis Asevsky. Some of them anyway. You can just see the writing there on the bottom of Giorgio Sir Dennis's shirt. Great initiative by the club to honour the people who have supported Preston Macedonia. That's a better look.
There we go. Yeah, and it's great though. That's what it takes for a football club. It takes a village. You know, it's not about just having good players. It takes everybody all mucking in together, and you know, it paid dividends. You look at Preston Lions and the crowd that's here today, and the atmosphere. it's great to see him. Well done to them.
Lawton. Kubalay just played it. Ball a little bit too heavy in the centre to Marcus Schrone. Foligno with good defensive awareness. May come back the other way. It's a lovely touch. Harry Keys rolls it in the middle. Opportunity here for Spirit FC. Keys cuts back well. Harry Keys! Oh, that was a great chance. Very close to equalising there, Harry Keys. Good spell here by Spirit. The Sydney side is asking some questions in the final 10 minutes of play. Albano beats one, but not a second defender. Lawton slows the tempo down. Need to get the foot on the ball and control the situation here. Preston Macedonia. Kubalay does just that. Lawton. Enough firepower on the pitch for both sides, but in particular for Preston to ask a few questions in the remaining minutes. Negro forced back. Mustafi pressed well. Here's Marcus Schrone, the veteran. He's had his injury concerns. Invites the run for Sir Dennis. His touch took him a little bit too wide. Can he recover the situation? Giorgio Sir Dennis with a little touch to the outside. Can't get the space required to whip in the cross. Mustafi, this time dispossessed. Numbers with Preston. Lawton on the outside. Ball whipped in near post. And Schrone got something on it, but not enough to test Chris Marks. And was that an appeal for handball, perhaps? Nicholas walks away sheepishly. Sure we'll get a second look at that. Good moment there for Preston.
Yeah, it was good ball into the area by Kubalay. Strong getting across the front. Yeah, you'd be hard pushed to give a handball there, really, for me.
Marks has to sit in wait and head it over there by the big defender Matt Bozanovsky, who's prone for an opportunistic goal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Often thrown him forward in pressure situations, Preston. You can see why. 200 centimetres.
Yeah, he's certainly a hard player to mark. He's a man of that size and stature coming into your box.
More subs about to play their part. Kyle Williams, one of them for Spirit FC. And those four players who were part of that ascension to the top flight of New South Wales football, as we see Zane Alawalia, who's a really versatile player, right wing back or winger. He's coming on the pitch. So almost a full complement. Kyra, Alawalia, Harry Keys, all on second half with Caleb Jackson-Brown. I was just going to mention that nucleus of the side that saw them promoted to the top flight of New South Wales football. Chris Marks, Grant Cornwell, Corey Kavanagh, Connor Starbo's the only missing piece, as well as, of course, David Perkovic, who's now moved on from the club, but 9 years he certainly stamped his mark in the ascension of Spirit FC in the New South Wales top flight. It's been a good match from Ollie Kubalay.
Has he's controlled that midfield. Him and Jagawin there have been terrific, moving that ball around, keeping play moving. But yeah, Spirit, they've made it their subs now. They've played their hand. What have they got in this last 5 minutes of play?
Ryan Scott usually excellent in the distribution. Tries to pick out Lawton. And we saw a shot there of Luca Falcone, the very composed Spirit coach. There's been a real difference in body language between the two benches, that's for sure. A lot more animated, the Preston Macedonia bench. Here's Wigan. Takami. This is a lot better. Ball whipped in back post. Keys needed a better first touch. We know he had that chance a few minutes back for Spirit. Jackson Brown involved, and that's not going to threaten Ryan Scott's goal too much. He won't mind shots of that nature outside the area. He's like a cat on a hot tin roof at the moment.
Just counting the minutes till he gets the 3 points in the bag at this point.
Part of Preston Lions folklore is Louis Asevsky, championship player and also a coach that's seen them promoted 3 times from the state league all the way to the top of Victorian football and playing its part in the final series as well in their first season back. Had a fully funded trip to Macedonia as well, organised by the Macedonian foreign minister, who's become very good friends with David Svetkoski, the president. A timely 2-match series in Macedonia. They raised some money for victims of a recent tragedy in a nightclub in Skopje. So doing their part. But giving back to the roots of the Macedonian community. Some defending to do here for Preston. And that was a robust challenge by Bozanovski on Takami.
Yeah, could have been a free kick there on first glance. I'd like to see it again. Bozanovski certainly left his mark there, that's for sure.
Takami was such an important signing for Spirit mid-season from Olympic in Brisbane, former Wollongong Wolves player, of course. The Wolves in the championship. He won the ball fairly, but collected the player as well in the process. Plenty of assists for Takami in the last campaign for Spirit. Nicholas. Clip forward, looking for Wigan. Good weight on the pass. Clever back heel too, good intention, but it was read by Stefan Negro. 5 minutes of additional time to close out this match. Here's Alawalia, who can let fly from long distance. They've rung the changes, both benches. Alawalia tries to win the ball back for Spirit. It's a robust finish to this opening match of the championship for both Spirit and Preston.
Yeah, but the frustration for me for Spirit, really, they're not moving the ball quick enough. They've taken on too many shots from distance, 25, 30 metres out. They need to move that ball. They need to move Preston Lions' defence around, which they haven't done, which will be very frustrating for Luca Falcone.
Brooks gets himself in a good position but doesn't win the free kick. It's a Spirit throw. Here's Kyra. Kozanovsky gives away the free kick, and that is a frustrating position to concede for the Preston bench. Another set piece has to be defended. Hayden Kyra getting his frame between ball and 200 centimetres of centre back. Who's involved once more, Kozanovsky. Angle ball, almost end up with Harry Keys on the angle, and there's the equaliser. And it's coming. And Falcone's off the bench in injury time. Jackson Brown finds the equaliser for 1-1 at BT Connor Reserve. A new face in the Spirit lineup, and it's been an excellent debut for Caleb Jackson Brown. Just 23 years of age, had to bide his time at Blacktown City. Also spell at Mount Druitt Rangers as well. Just pinballing the box, and it was a fortuitous goal, but well taken in the end.
It was a great forward running. We've been talking about them moving the ball around and moving Preston Lions defence. Jackson Brown makes a run in behind, and what a terrific finish. Football done simply, done well, 1-1.
And now the potential reply here for Preston at the other end. Time running out. That must be so frustrating for Louis Asevsky, but they've been inviting danger in the last 15 minutes. Maybe a little bit too much game management and not enough positive thoughts for the Preston players.
Yeah, well, 1-0 is a very dangerous scoreline, but you did get to feel that Preston Lions were almost too comfortable. Spirit weren't, they weren't working out the jigsaw pieces as such, but they certainly found the right piece there with Jackson Brown making that run, and he found a beautiful finish into the far corner.
Been one of the matches where the home side's been patchy. They've dominated spells, but not the consistency, and I suppose that's just reflective of the fact that they've come off a big season. They had a European mini pre-season. You never know how the players are going to react from coming back from that type of scenario. And the fans are displeased, not too happy about the scoreline and the way it's playing out. Still time left for Preston. Lawton involved. Oh, free kick conceded. Bad scenario there for the Lions. And a good one for Spirit FC. And they'll consider a point away from home a very positive start to the championship.
It's a great point for them against a pretty big and vocal crowd here. Terrific point. Late in the game as well, what a time to score.
Marcus. Marcus Schroen fouled. Is there time left? Hasn't been too much delay in stoppages. Schroen pings the angled ball in the path of Sir Dennis. First touch eluded him, but they'll get another free kick and they need to take it quickly. Stefan Negro asking for clarification. He's not going to get it. Luca Falcone quite vocal to the fourth official about where the stoppages are coming from beyond the 95. This will be the last roll of the dice by Kubalay for Preston Lions. Good weight on that free kick. Is the moment lost? And there it is, ended by referee Quartermain. It was a passionate, sometimes patchy display by the home side, but a spirited match. The opener for both Preston and Spirit FC has ended in a draw. The scoring opened by Jason Romero in the 38th minute, and in injury time, Caleb Jackson Brown on his debut for Spirit FC has come up with the equaliser from the angle. So it's finished at BT Connor Reserve. Preston 1, Spirit FC 1.